want to talk to you a little bit about the strength of your organization as a whole as you start building out your strategic plan, as you start building out your expansion plans, whatever those may be. Tactically, you're going to have to identify some areas that you need your organization to work on, and you're going to need to divide those up into 6 categories. Number 1, we're looking at the strength of the management team. This also encompasses leadership. 0 to 30%. 30%, this over here is your ideal, right? This is where you want to get to. You want your management team to be at least 30% of the strength of your organization. Again, this has to do with infrastructure, bandwidth, right? When you're analyzing your company, what is it that you guys are looking at and what is it you're looking for? So when you're building out your strategic plan, you also need to look at the size of the opportunity in your organization, in your market, right? The size of the opportunity. Think of yourself as almost an investor. You're looking at the strength of the management team. You're looking at the size of the opportunity, right? You're also looking at the technology behind your service or your product, right? And think of yourself as weighting the averages here in the sense that you need to have some ideals, right? How strong is that technology? And if everything is going to equal 100% and you're breaking this down in terms of the strength of your organization, your patent technology, although we like to believe that our patents and technologies are so very important, the reality of it is you should only give it a max weighting of 15%, right? And then we also need to look at the competitive environment. Let me go back to this patent technology or copyrights or intellectual property trademarks. Just because you have a patent doesn't mean that a larger organization isn't going to infringe on you. Large organizations, oftentimes, and I've had this happen to me, large organizations oftentimes say, hey, you know what? So what that you've got the patents on this? Sue me. I've got more money. Go ahead. Come after me. I'm Apple. I'm Samsung. I'm Merck. I'm Disney. I'm Coca-Cola, right? I mean, the reality of it is that just because you have patents doesn't mean, oftentimes people think, oh, I have a patent, and so therefore, bam, no one can do anything unless they come through me. Wrong, wrong, wrong. When large companies set their strategic plans, guess what? They may run right over your patents. And it's going to be up to you to litigate. They know they have more money than you. I have been in litigations with large pharmaceutical companies suing me frivolously just because they wanted me out of the way, to get my patents out of the way, trying to drain my resources. 3 times I won. But that doesn't mean that because you have a patent or a trademark or some kind of copyright that you're always going to win, right? So when you're weighting your strengths, patented technologies are a must, but don't weight it the way other people do. I see this happen all the time, almost 100%, right? Competitive environment. Every environment is competitive. Every day it's war. That's why your strategic plan is so important. Your competitive environment, the reality of it is, it's competitive, right? But in terms of how risky, don't put too much don't put too much into it because every single market is competitive, right? How about your marketing, your sales channels, the partnerships, right? This is absolutely critical. Absolutely critical. But in the whole, in the context of the whole, it's only about 10%. Speed to get into the marketplace. You want to be fast. But if you notice, what are we weighting the most? What is it that we put the most weight on? It's strength of management team. It's your team. It's your leadership. You could have the greatest product on the planet with the best IP. And I have seen this time and time again, and I have seen that become the best kept secret in the world also. Why? Because I'd rather have an A+ management team with a D product than a B+ product with, than an A+ product with a B+ management team. Let me say that again. I'd rather have an A+ management team with a D product than an A+ product with a B+ management team. Why? Because an A+ management team is always going to figure it out. This is where you need to be putting your strengths. This is where in your strategic plan, what you need to be building for, what you need to be looking at in terms of risks and mitigants. I'm Senor Chavez, and now we're cooking with gas.